Hello everyone, Zach aka Phazed AD here with BallOnNerds.com, bringing you a different video from the rest that I've so far created. This one's different on several levels. The first one is I decided to put music on. And before I was sitting here going through my music library, then I decided, screw it, I'm going to play music I like. This is Power Glove. Good band, by the way. So, the other things that's going to differentiate this video from the others is I wanted to give kind of a tutorial video in this one. Not on the gameplay, but on actual, like, what I did to modify the game. I downloaded one of those custom UIs, specifically Verb, I think that's how you would say it. And I spent about 6 hours going through the config file and editing my UI so that everything could be in a certain position. You're about to see it in just a second. I'm going to post a link in the description of what my UI config file looks like, so you can just copy paste it. If your resolution is not in 1920 by 1080, then it's not going to work. It's every positioning is different because it's all done on X and Y coordinates. So of course, the lower your resolution, the more this strap's going to move. So I'll show you in a second exactly what my thought process was. So maybe if you're thinking of editing your UI, maybe you can consider some of the things that I considered. So what I did was, what I wanted to do was centralize everything so that when I'm looking at a certain part of the screen, I can optimize what I'm looking at. For example, bottom left corner, I glance at it, I can see two things. I can see actually three things that are really important. I can see my items, I can see my skills, and I can see my summoners. And before, I would have to look kind of in the middle and then to the left to see those two. So now I just look at one corner, there they both are. I cleared out the middle here so I could see. So when I'm team fighting, this bar isn't getting in the way. So I wanted to clear out the middle like that, and then on the right you can see I have my mini-map, and then so I can see everybody's ults. That's why I put this here. You have the option to hide, like you can actually make a UI where nothing shows except the mini-map, or you can have it where absolutely nothing shows and not even the mini-map. So it is customizable, and like I said, I'll put a link in the description that will link you to my config file. The second thing, or the last thing I want to talk about, and what the main focus of this video is going to be, is about a revelation I had after watching IPL. I, like 250,000 others, watched IPL 4 this weekend. TSM did amazing. They played a fantastic game. I was very happy that they won. They were very nervous going into it because of Dyrus, and I know that they had won the last, I believe, 2 tournaments in a very humiliating fashion, so they really needed this win to come together. I need to lower my sound. I always forget to do that. My mic is so quiet, I don't know why. So I'll lower the sound there. So, congratulations to them. The only upset I had during that game, I don't know if anyone else felt this way, but I thought MM should have beaten Dignitas. They played amazing that game. They beat Dignitas, oh, excuse me, almost early game and almost all 3 games. I think the only one they didn't was game 2, and every single game they were shutting down Void. They did a fantastic job. I was very upset, but that was the only one upset that I had. CLG, of course, played amazing. Anyway, when I was watching IPL, I play AD, that's my main. So I was watching and paying particular attention, especially in the grand finals with TSM versus CLG. I was watching Double Lift and Chaos very carefully and saying, okay, what are they doing, and comparing it to my own style of play. So what I noticed was their farm. I've known for a while that my weakest area is farm. I am not a good farmer. I am not Old MacDonald's son or grandfather or anything. My last hitting isn't very good, but I think what separates me from a lot of people is I play aggressive pretty well, and I team fight, I think, pretty well. I would say better than average. Like, I'm not going to say I'm better than most or better than everybody, because then we're just going to get trolls and flame posts on here, and I don't want that. But I would say I'm better than average. My ELO right now is 1530. It's what I'm about to talk about. I'm sure the high ELO players, like the 1900s, all know this, but maybe this help you reaffirm how you feel, or maybe you can discuss what brought about your revelation. But going back to my story, when I saw their farm, which at 25 minutes or so was beating up about 200 or 250, anywhere in there, I realized I'm not getting that kind of farm until about the 30-minute mark. Like, they're at about 200 farm by the time laning phase ends. I'm at about 200 farm about halfway through team fighting phase, which really isn't good at all compared to the level of play. So when I realized that, I said, okay, what I need to do is sit down and seriously focus on farming. I've said it to myself in my head, man, I'm bad at farming, but I've never actually sat down and said, I need to work on this. So that's the first thing I decided I'd do. So I sat down in this game, this is shortly after IPL was over, so I think it's still Sunday as far as I know, and said to my friends, we're doing arranged 5s right now, so all of my friends and I are in Vent, and I said, we're going to run a game, and I'm going to farm, that is all. I'm going to focus on farming. They said, okay, that's fine. So we get to champion select, and I see their picks, and I see that they have Graves Lulu, and I'm like, you know what, I can go Kog'Maw and outrange Graves. And since they have Udyr, I can pretty much melt him, so I'm going to go Kog'Maw. I told my friend Double Time, I'm going to go Kog'Maw. You go... He wanted to support, and so I'm sorry about that lag there. Anyway, he said he wanted to support, so I said, okay, go Soraka, stand behind me, all we're going to do is farm. So he said, okay. So, during Champion Select, we already knew what our goals were going to be in lane. My goal was, I'm not going to harass, I'm not going to play aggressive, I am going to try to last hit as much as I possibly can. And I want Soraka to stand there. We picked Soraka because they have an Amumu, and when he ults, if Soraka ults, that'll help to kind of negate that damage and the stun that we're going to be in. And also, I can stay in lane and farm a lot longer with Soraka than Graves can with Lulu. So all this was done with a clear purpose of keeping me in lane and keeping me alive during fights. And this game was felt totally different to me than a lot of the other ones I played, than almost every single one I've played. When I'm in the situation I am now, where I'm being constantly pushed back to the tower, forced to farm under tower, I start getting stressed. You know, not like holy crap stressed, but I start saying, man, I'm under tower again. I gotta get out of tower so I can put pressure on their AD, push their tower down, and start going to mid so I can push that tower down, and so we can start getting this together, go to a Baron. That's usually my mindset in games. My mindset was completely different and much more focused this game, which was totally different, and what this revelation led to of farm. Where I went into this game saying, I don't care if I'm farming under tower, I don't care if I put pressure on Graves, I don't care if I take his tower, I don't care about any of that. All I care about is getting last hits. And I've of course watched a lot of the guides by Chaox and a lot of the other pros, specifically Chaox. He's a guy I watch. Sorry to all you Cutie Pie fans and Double F fans, but he's a guy I've been watching for a long time, since I started practically. Anyway, he's always talked about the importance of last hitting and making sure that that your #1 priority as AD is farming. And I've always agreed with it, but I've never actually put it into practice. Like, I've always thought in my head, man, I should work on farming, but I never actually do. And this was the one game where I said, you know what, I'm going to. This is a game I'm going to last hit, like, until we lose, until the surrender mark. I don't care if you guys are fighting at Baron, I'm going to be down here last hitting. Well, not really, but that was kind of my mindset, was I want to improve, I want to be on the same level as Chaox one day. So, going into this game with that mindset already gave me a clear, defined goal of what I wanted to look like late game. I didn't want to have a lot of farm, I didn't want to have towers, I wanted to have, I'm sorry, not a lot of farm, I didn't want to have a lot of kills. I wanted to have a lot of farm, I didn't care if I got towers. Dragon is of course important, but after farm, that was my second priority. Just personally, of course as a team, Dragon's much more important than me farming. So, what concerns I came across were, there was a couple concerns as I was playing this. First, I normally am playing really aggressive, so I've got bot constantly pushed to their tower. That means I get a lot of attention from their jungle, and I am usually proficient enough that their jungler will camp bottom, or at least come bottom pretty frequently compared to the other lanes, and I can get away from it. We have good wards, I have pretty decent map awareness, I think, and I'm usually able to get out of a lot of ganks. A lot of times their mid will come down, and when I get 4 people down, I'm probably going to die at that point, but we should be getting a tower. So one of my concerns was, what's going to happen when the jungler isn't coming bottom as much as he would? I'm not going to be taking the pressure off my team. Is that really what I want to do? As Kog'Maw, I think it is. As Kog'Maw, you just want to farm. You're not very strong early game, you're decent mid game, but really how strong you are mid and late game drastically depends on your ability to farm early game. The better farm, the stronger you're going to get, the sooner. You'll be a lot stronger a lot sooner. Sorry, I'm trying to get all these thoughts out at once, and I guess I'm kind of stumbling through this, but I'm going to do my best here. And so, as I was playing this game, and as I got to about the 10-15 minute mark, in between there, I started realizing I'm doing a good job farming. I think right now, I started pulling away from Graves. As you can see, I'm 4 ahead. Until about now, I was about 4 CS behind Graves. Now you can see I'm 4 ahead. And it's 1-1. I believe they got first blood. So I realized as I'm farming, man, I'm getting the Infinity Edge a lot quicker. I think I got like a 22-minute Infinity Edge, I think. I had Wriggle's Infinity Edge at 22 minutes, which is pretty good for me. Normally I want to get Infinity Edge right around 25, 26 minutes, but improving that by 5 minutes is huge for me. And even then, as you can see, I'm not even getting perfect farm at all. We got pinged to go help, so that's why I missed that CS. And so they were getting ganked, and they were yelling at me in vent. Peer pressure. Anyway. And so another thing that this led to was our synergy as a team increased exponentially this game. And that all happened because I was focused on a goal. I'll walk you through it. What happened was we're at Champ Select, and I say I'm going to pick Kog'Maw and go farm heavy. I'm again sorry about the lag. Like Fraps and this just lag like crazy sometimes. So there's kind of lag in between. You'll have to excuse it. I'm really sorry. My dual core processor OP. Anyway, we're at Champ Select, and I say I'm going to go Kog'Maw. I'm going to go and farm. Soraka came after that. Okay, I'll help you farm. We picked Riven, I'll protect you. We picked Morgana, I'll protect you. We picked Shyvana, I'll protect you. Our whole team comp was centered around me making this decision. So this small decision of me, I'm going to focus on farming, led to our team comp, which is good. It's not perfect, but it's good. What I mean by that is normally when I'm first pick, and this is the first time I've set this goal, so I'll walk you through a normal game. I'm first pick, and I'm like, okay, who do I feel like playing? That's really what I base it on. Do I feel like playing Ezreal? Do I feel like playing Corki? Do I feel like playing Kog'Maw? Who do I feel like playing? That's what I pick. And then everybody kind of picks based off of that. Who do we feel like playing? And a lot of the times, because this is this is normal, by the way, this is not ranked. But because it's a normal, we're just kind of like, whatever, play what you want, and we'll have some fun. And a lot of the times we win. What was different this game was we had a team comp that was focused around an entire idea. Everybody was building towards this idea of we're going to have a really strong late game Kog'Maw that's just going to carry us through fights. And this is what I believe the pros, TSM, CLG, etc., and what have you, really focus on. And what's good about them and what makes them pro is they don't have to have this kind of discussion. They can tell, okay, this person picked this champion. For example, Chaos picked Kog'Maw. Alright, then I know that we're going to be a late game team that's going to protect Kog'Maw, and they all build their builds, or they all build their character selections all around the idea of Kog'Maw. Or if Chaos goes Graves, for example, then they know they're going to have a pretty strong early game and a decent late game and kind of a weak mid game. I think Graves is kind of weak mid game. He's not like Tristana weak, but he's not like Kog'Maw mid game. Kog'Maw is pretty strong. And so then they're like, okay, we need to build a mid, or this would be what TSM would say, we need to build a mid that can kind of carry us through mid game, and we need to protect Graves late game. And then that's it. I mean, that's what makes them good. And now I see that's how a lot of what goes around their champion selections is they all have a goal in mind of where they want to be late game. And I think that's the biggest revelation I got out of this of all. If you go into a game after bans and you say, okay, here's what the bans are, here's what they might be building, what should our end goal be? What do we want our team to be able to do? Do we want our team to be able to fight? Do we want our team to be able to kite? Do we want to be able to poke? Etc., etc. So if you decide you want to get a poke comp, okay, great, then you know you're going to want a Nidalee in there probably somewhere. You're probably going to want a Kog'Maw in there. You see the champion selections get narrowed down, and you can fine-tune them from there, where you say, okay, let's pick Nidalee. Okay, we have somebody that can do a lot of range, but she's not very tanky. We need a tank jungle that can help us poke. Okay, maybe Galio or Galio mid. And so champion selection honestly seems a lot more smoother and a lot more concise as you're going through this. And when we were at Champ Select, it felt so much less awkward, or, you know, you kind of feel like you're walking through the dark without a flashlight. You're just blind, you can't see, you don't know what you're doing, you're kind of stumbling through it. But when we knew what we wanted to have late game, it's like the lights got turned on. We could see everything. We knew what we were getting into. We knew how we needed to play laning phase. We knew that I didn't have to push, that I can just sit here and farm all day, and that that as long as we didn't feed, and as long as I stayed even or ahead of Graves, we should be winning almost every team fight. Unfortunately, we don't win this game. We feed their Udyr pretty heavily, but That doesn't change the fact that, and that's what's different about this game, is after the game, we lost. I did okay. I think I went 8-3 this game, but I felt like, wow, we just played really well. I mean, let me rephrase that. We didn't play really well, but this game felt like we played well because we knew what we were doing. It just felt really organized. It felt really good, despite us having some missteps and feeding the Udyr. I'm sorry, by the way, for not watching any action getting on. I'm going to go into that in just a second as we kind of get into the mid-game. But I wanted to really focus on and just talk about what my goals were here, and so you can see my efforts at last hitting, and as pitiful as they may be. And so I'll kind of go through the rest of the game in just a minute here and discuss what we're doing and what our thought process is, and specifically what mine is, because I can speak for myself. But I think I kind of got my point across where, and the bottom line is, this one revelation of me looking at my gameplay and saying, okay, here's what I'm doing right, and here's what I'm doing wrong. I need to buckle down and improve on what I'm doing wrong. And so that led to, okay, I need to farm better, which led to, okay, we're going to build our team comp around that idea, which led to this being a much less awkward game. Again, sorry for the lag. My processor. Not very good, I guess. And so, what we have going on top, and I believe what the problem was with us this game, was we have my friend Peter, who's a little rusty at the game. As you can see, all he has is wriggles, and we're 14 minutes in. That's not very good. He hasn't gotten too many successful ganks. Udyr is a very strong pick right now, in our opinion. I should have banned, or we should have banned Udyr. Normally we ban Skarner. After this game we decided we're going to drop the Skarner ban. We can probably handle Skarner better and easier than we can handle Udyr. So, as you can see, Udyr is just raking in the kills here. 1-0. He has really good farm. He's 6 behind me, which is pretty darn good. So, let's look at the farm bottom for just a second. I'm 105 to Graves' 70. So I'm really out farming him right now at 15 minutes. Normally this doesn't happen, and this is what also felt different to me, was I was ahead by 35 CS at the 15-minute mark. That doesn't happen unless the person has died 6 times, and I haven't killed Graves once. So it shows that I'm farming really well, I'm doing a good job, or at least farming better than this Graves, which I understand he's not a pro, that's not saying much, but for me, that's quite an accomplishment. I mean, by now, I probably would have gotten 1 or 2 kills on Graves, but I would have also died maybe anywhere between 1 and 3 times around this time. On an average game. And so, one of the problems, or another thing that I felt this may have been lacking in, was I don't want to pull a Hotshot GG. Anyone who's watched Hotshot GG, which by the way, I'm not going to rag on him. The guy is definitely talented, he's definitely good, and he can definitely kick my ass any day. I'm not saying that at all. What I don't like about Hotshot's gameplay, or what you could say is different, but I don't appreciate, or however you want to say it, is when I'm watching him, he doesn't have any kind of... he doesn't participate in fights. He stays top and he farms, and he farms really, really well. But I feel that if he had more of a mindset to contest objectives and leave lane, then he'd be a better player, I think. Right now, Hotshot is a good mid, and if he gets the farm that he wants, he's going to carry the game and they're going to win. CLG is a very farm-hard team, win-hard team, if you will. So, but the reason why I don't want to be like that is I'm bottom. I need to be moving around. I need to kind of fluctuate. I need to make sure we're contesting dragons. I need to, if we decided to contest the red, but our jungler isn't on the same level as us. I mean, he's good, don't get me wrong, I'm not making fun of him, but he's not on my level of play right now. And so normally I'd be trying to contest red, etc., etc. So we got action going on over here. And Nidalee right now I think also gets really bad. Nidalee's 6-2. So I'm going to do my best to come over and make a play. And Nidalee is actually really good with these spears. Nidalee did a good job of hitting a lot of her spears this game, doing a lot of damage. I think I get a good spear here. Oh, nope, she's still trying to get Riven. That was probably a misstep there. She probably should have just run, but it might have been too late when I put... Well, if I put that slow behind her and she panthered, she might have gotten away. So you can kind of see my friend trolling, saying ooh, because all she says is ooh when she gets spears. I don't know why. She kind of trolled us. It's kind of annoying. And so it's around this time that my team realizes, okay, we're having a bad game. It's 5-8. Nidalee's fed. and Udyr's kind of fed, but he's farmed. So my jungler realizes, okay, I'm just going to be a stun bot. I'm going to stand in front of Kog'Maw. And so right there, we're planning out our late game. It's 18 minutes in, and we already know about how our late game is going to go, which again is different for me for how I usually play. So you can see it's just kind of getting dragging here. I don't want to make this too long. I pretty much said all I wanted to say, and now it's kind of like, okay, how quickly do we lose? So I think I'll just go ahead and speed this up a little and try to watch what I can. And so you can see the problem is I feel like maybe this game would have gone better if I had grouped up sooner and farmed a little less. I don't know, maybe I could have gone mid and tried to make some plays. But like I said, I'm just now experimenting with this totally different style of play. And so I'm kind of going to have to adjust. Before, I would be, you know, making lots of ganks on mid, trying to make as many plays as I can, but here I was just passively farming. So very different for me, and it's going to take me a little while to adjust. I kind of already have. I had an Urgot game earlier, or I was playing Sivir against an Urgot, who of course counters him, and I think that guy had 29 CS at endgame, and I was at about 200. He went like 0-8 that game. He couldn't farm at all. His endgame build was Manamune Boots. I had Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, and I think I was working towards either a Last Whisper or Bloodthirster by the time the game was over. So as I've seen this, I mean, as I've made this change, this subtle change of just farm better, stop being so bad. Like, I used to kind of shrug off when I lost CS. Now I really kind of mentally beat myself up over it. Like, come on, I can't miss this CS this early. I'm really putting all my focus on farming. And so what that's going to change also in laning phase, and another potential problem is my support's going to have to be the one that initiates the aggression. I think I read on Reddit, or I heard some pros say that support should always be initiating. Normally, because of my kind of aggressive style, I tend to initiate the fights, and or the exchanges, if you will, bottom. Sorry for the lag again. And so what's going to have to happen now is my support's going to have to do it and kind of initiate, but we both can punish them, of course, when they overextend. I think that's what the key here is not necessarily going for exchanges, but just punishing when they get too close or overextend or whatever. So you can see me continuing to just farm bottom, kind of boring. So I hope you guys like the music, by the way. I feel better when the music is playing. I feel awkward when I hear silence. So that's why the music is playing. I'm sorry about the whole scrolling issues too. Like, honestly, this game isn't that interesting because of like the poor level of play from both myself and the rest of my team, which is kind of why I'm whipping through it. I mean, I already showed the kind of laning phase and talked about what I was thinking, so all that's left now is pretty much for us to lose. This game does last pretty long though. We did our best to hold out, but we're already on kind of the decline right now. So hopefully the music's good. If you guys don't enjoy the video or the commentary, at least hopefully you think the music's good. I like these guys. Power Glove is really, really good. Fun guys to listen to. They take video game music and they metal it, if you will. They add, of course, a lot of guitar distortion, drums, and everything, and make it real cool. This one is, of course, Ocarina of Time from Zelda. So a lot of people should be familiar with it. That was one spear and like a panther pounce, and I'm almost dead. So she already has a freaking hat, sheen, and blasting wand. She's going to get a Lich Bane very, very soon. And that's pretty much going to spell the demise of pretty much everybody on the team. And so what's happening right now with us in Vent, if I remember correctly, is we're talking and saying, okay, we don't think we're going to win. Our only chance of winning is if Kog'Maw carries us through every fight. And the problem became not that that was a bad idea, but that my wall, if you will, of people, like Udyr dies me here. He wanted me bad. There's nothing I could do. He just bare formed and just tanked everything. I mean, the guy's pretty fed now. What is he? He's 2-0, 210 farms, so he can just pretty much run through towers and not care. I almost kill this Udyr like 5 times in this game. If I slowed it down, you'd see him get like to a sliver of health, probably about twice by now. Anyway, and so we're saying, okay, we need to protect Kog'Maw, just stun everybody, and maybe we can win fights. we're all, I guess, kind of thinking, you know, I think this game is over. There's no way our wall is even going to be able to withstand the punishment they can deal out. But whatever. Never give up, never surrender. So, as you can see, we're doing our best. Kind of losing fights. Pulling up the surrender vote. I think we vote no here. Because I'm like, I want to see this through. I think one of my other friends is saying we're not protecting Kog'Maw well enough, which is kind of true, but I'm not positioning myself very well at all. I'm getting caught in a Mumu ults. I haven't built a Quicksilver yet, I don't think. I'm focusing on damage because I need to drop Udyr. Udyr's the one dishing out all the beatings. Graves isn't too much of a threat right now, so I'm not very scared of him. I mean, he has almost the same build as me, but I have a Wriggle, so I have more sustain than him. So 1 versus 1, I'll of course win that, and I'm Kog'Maw, and Kog'Maw will peak. And so you can kind of see there, like, the poor fighting. Like, we're just not fighting well at all. Kind of constantly running away. I almost kill this Nidalee here. I hit her about, oh man, I mean, she almost kills me. That was a good spear. It was a blind spear, I think, too. So we've already lost all of our outer turrets. The only thing I think we could have done to save ourselves was push the lanes out, like past river, all 3 lanes, and then try to Baron. But that would have been a complete act of desperation, you know. If I see a team doing that, I'm like, okay, they think it's over. And it pretty much is over, by the way. I'm not illusioning myself here, or tricking myself. And they kind of troll Udyr. I'm the only one on our team that can drop Udyr, which is again a problem. He can pretty much run through our team and do as he wants. I get a spear from Nidalee there. So we're still also kind of discussing how can we win this game, because we all kind of feel like we have a better team comp. And I think we actually, watch me just drop Amumu here. Like, he didn't want none. That's when they finally saw, wow, and I saw as well, wow, I'm doing some damage. I dropped that Amumu very quickly. And so here we kind of chase Graves. We should probably be rushing the Baron, but we don't. I think I said, you know what, there's a couple of them dead. If we're not going to Baron, I'm going to push this tower. So I think I get this tower. Yeah, I just get it. There's a nice orange line. So we're trying to control our buffs, control our jungle as best we can. They should be counter Baroning actually right now. If I were them, I'd be going straight to Baron. Maybe it's not up, I'm not sure. There's not much left in this game. So you can see me doing a lot of damage to Amumu there. Amumu has no tank items right now except for Warmogs, and so he drops really easily to Kog'Maw. Udyr's a real big problem for me. Despite him having no armor, I find he has a lot of life regen, it seemed, but all he had was Wriggles. So you can see me. Well, let me slow this down a little bit. I get killed by the Nidalee spear there. Well, Nidalee spear did a lot of damage to me. I got caught. And again, it goes back to we knew what our objectives were, but we didn't fulfill them. So I didn't have my wall that I needed of people that could protect me. So Udyr can just straight up run past all my teammates and just get straight to me. So I think what happens here is they're kind of pushing us. So you can see my score too. I'm 5-3 with 246 CS. Udyr, Graves is finally catching up, and that's because he's been free farming the whole game. And I'm beating the rest, I'm beating the rest of their team in farm except for Udyr. And Udyr's kind of been free farming everywhere. He's gotten a lot of farm this game. I think he's been counter jungling a lot as well. I believe Sadari, Riven, complained a couple times about counter jungling. That's another thing. I don't know, like when my priority is farm, I guess what I'm working on and what my deepest concern is balancing between farming and making my presence, and map presence I guess would be the best word, where if I see them contesting blue, I stop farming, I go to blue, I come back to lane. If I see them contesting dragon, I stop and I go to dragon. And again, if their AD goes, of course I'm gonna go. But assuming their AD doesn't, then that's kind of where I need to find the balance. Again, more lag, wonderful. This replay is almost over. I decided to try this format because this way I can play the game and not have to worry about what I'm saying and keeping a consistent thought pattern. But obviously I guess my computer kind of has problems with lag. I didn't know this until I started recording, and I don't really want to... of course I can't go back. So this is going to have to be about as good as it gets. Hopefully eventually I'll get an upgraded computer, but since it's just spots of lags, I hope you guys don't mind. So this game is really close to over. I think they make the final push here. There's no way we're going to be able to hold this off. They have Baron, and their team's way too thin. That's the 4th time Udyr gets away with no health. And that's game. Hope you enjoyed. Feel free to subscribe, comment, ask me anything, give me any kind of feedback. I'll always appreciate that. And I hope this helps you with your gameplay. Just analyzing big things and seeing, or analyzing anything, in my case farming, just seeing what it can lead to is pretty interesting. So thanks a lot. Comment, subscribe.